Day 2 of the 10-day hunt. Got set up Friday night. Yesterday was about a half day in the morning, and then a girlfriend came out, so we did some scouting yesterday evening. Today, we went out later this morning. She heard a bugle 2 times. I barely heard it the first time. We just walked up this access road, and then we hiked up further after we kind of were trying to pinpoint where it was at or if it was another hunter. And after coming back down, we heard it again. Again, she heard this one. I didn't hear this one at all. So I'm heading back there. It's 1 o'clock right now. She just took off, and I'm going to work my way up and try to sneak my way in and see where it's at. Let's go for it. Let's make a play. It is day 2. Let's do it. Worked my way into where we thought that bull was. And then I started hearing a lot of bugles going on, both across the valley and down below. Drop down below. I think I bumped him. And then there's this bull on the other side of the valley, just bugling nonstop for like an hour. And now I'm on the ridge, further past him, further to the west. And he bugled off a few times since I got up here. Fresh scat, a lot of it from today. It's been a lot of earth that I put on over the last hour. Feel great though. I could keep going, keep pushing it. I think I'm at about his elevation on the ridge. I'm going to start working my way towards him. The wind is at about 90 degrees going that way, and he's that way. Yeah, I think you get it. Yeah. So we're going to start working away over there. Got my GoPro, but the freaking battery's out like 1/3, not even. But whatever, I'm more worried about you getting a bull. Alright, keep stalking towards him. Right, so I blew the stalk on that elk. Man, I got so close. I was within striking distance of him. It was like 3 hours within 100 yards of him, just slowly walking all the way in. But basically, he was right behind this kind of tiny cliffed out spot, bedded down. Just could not see him at all. I was just constantly glassing, constantly looking. I just could not find him. Just walking, took a couple steps past a tree, and then I just heard a big yelp, and then him stand up and crash away. So he must have been looking right towards me. And I've been trying, like as I was moving, I've been trying to always keep my eyes on where I think he's at. But man, it's tough when you can't see him, because I thought he was further down than that. Oh well, learned a little bit. Keep your eyes on where you think they're at, and I try to just slowly move an inch at a time as far as you're viewing the amount that you can see, and just keep your eyes on that as you slowly move. For 3 hours of stalking, it's tough to stay that concentrated and focused. At this point, I think I'm going to work my way up towards the ridge and then just walk the ridge. It's noon right now, and just listen for bugles on both sides of the ridge. I know there were other elk in the area bugling this morning. I think there was one other one on this side of the ridge further down. And then we'll try to chase in and hopefully get another chance at one tonight. Tuesday morning, day before, up in the same area. There's 2 bugles within 5 minutes. I'm going to start working my way directly towards them. It's about 1:15. I lost that bull that I was following all morning, but there is a bunch of bugles that are lighting up behind me. Sounds like it's up on top of the ridge. That's going to be a big investment though, and honestly I'm pretty worn down today. But I don't want to just leave some bugling bulls. I decided to pull out at 2:30. I feel like this bull, I just wasn't gaining ground on him. He just kept on going and going and going. And there was no way I was going to catch up with him unless I went up and cut him off. And honestly, I felt really zapped today. Like my energy levels were just, I put in way more than I was planning today. Pretty big day yesterday and not a lot of sleep. I know that he's up there. I kind of have a rough idea where he's at. I think he's going up to the top of the ridge. And I think he might even be a different bull than the one that I was on yesterday, because I don't feel like that one from yesterday went all the way down to the road and then turned around and came all the way back again. And then I was hearing other bugles up on the ridge before I last heard him. I don't know if that was hunters. I don't think it was other hunters. I think it was another bull, but I could be wrong about that. But I know the one bull is up there, unless the hunters got him today. Just wanted to hit the hay early today. I got all the stuff done, washed some clothes in the river, which was great. Definitely feels weird, feels like I'm missing out not being up in the mountains for the prime time. I'm going to get up probably even earlier than normal tomorrow morning and get up there, try and hike up super early so I can get a good start on the day and be up on the top of the ridge. And hopefully close that gap while they're still bugling in the morning. That's my plan. Used some of my last dwindling water to take a shower, so I feel great right now. We're gonna nail the mountain tomorrow and get this bull down. Day 4 in the books. Day 5 is gonna be a great day. It's just after 7. I worked my way all the way up this ridge, up to where I thought that I last heard the bull along here. I think he was going west, which sounded like the bugle that I just heard came from that way, pretty far away. Started hiking this morning at about 4:30 a.m. So I got up here right on time. I wanted to be in this area, and they've been bugling at 7 a.m. So yesterday when I was making that play, and I backed out, I passed another person's truck. So two things. Two. It was either a hunter bugling up here to the bull that I was on, or there was another bull up here bugling, or I guess a third option, there was a bull and there was another hunter up here. Plus there was me down below chasing this other bull. I don't know. CSI, North Idaho, Hunter Edition. Alright, so I'm going to keep working this ridge to the west and see if I can pinpoint a little better where that bugle is coming from. And I'm going to try to make some decent time. So I just bumped him and he ran down the finger. Been into elk the last 3-4 days, so that's awesome, at least getting some action. But man, it is defeating. But the day in yesterday, I think, stalking this same elk, called it early, came around to make a different play this morning, and came in on him and bumped him. It's just a lot of work to have that happen, but that's the name of the game. So now I'm debating on what to do. I know that there's elk in this area along this ridge. It's a big area to cover. Consistently there's been elk in here, and I think there's been 2 to 3 bulls. After you bump an elk, you don't really want to just chase after them, right? I should probably move on like I did the other day and try to find some other ones. You also heard the saying, do not leave elk to find elk. But if you already bumped them, what are the chances you're going to be able to get on them again for at least another day or 2? Squirrels are pretty cool though. I've been watching squirrels. Time to figure this out. Make some progress. Thursday, day 6. It was an exciting end of the day. I'm going to rewind it to the last time I checked in yesterday. Bumped that elk. Heard a bugle from across the draw after that last update. Right after that, I went towards the bugle, worked my way around the draw towards where he was at. He bugled several times after that. And really just worked my way in, went steady. I didn't answer at all with any bugles. At that point, I still was only bugling to locate, and I was still stalking or still hunting. Worked in on him over the course of a couple hours. Just was gone. He was just poof, vanished. Didn't see him at all again. And then the start of today, went up to this different peak. Even though I knew there was at least a couple bulls up there, I've just been working that for like 3 days straight. There was a storm last night, high winds, thunderstorm, and halfway up the peak, I realized I did not throw the chainsaw in the side by side. And I was like, God dang it! This is the one time I want to have the chainsaw with me. So when you have it, I get 3/4 of the way up the peak, and there's 2 trees down in front of the road, and a guy pulls up and he kind of bails me out. He's got a chainsaw. I got up top and found some fresh tracks, found some fresh stuff. Hiked in pretty far off of this finger, and it was a little bit of a buy in a couple hours. Didn't get on anything. Did a lot of bugling, just locator bugles on all the different ridges and everything on the way down. Until today, I've hardly bugled at all. And then I decided, you know what? I'm never going to get good at bugling if I don't bugle. So let's just start doing it and working on it and getting better. And hopefully I can get some interactions. I got to the last stop and I was making plans, just standing outside the side by side, looking at Onyx, trying to make some plans to either do some more locator bugles as it turned to night or some spots to hit in the morning. And then I heard a faint, very faint bugle off in the distance. Heard a couple more and eventually pinpointed the area that it was coming from. Threw out another bugle, got an answer. So I grabbed my stuff and started walking up the road, and then got my first like back and forth bugle session. And it was awesome. Just back and forth, back and forth. I worked my way all the way up the road, and at this point it was like 17 minutes until I'm done with shooting. And honestly, the way I was in that draw, I already could hardly see. Like if I would have got on him right when I got to that new spot, then I could have taken a shot. But past that, it was just I could hardly see. So I just kept bugling him and working up the draw just to see how close I could get. And he's really raspy bull. Just he gets up to that high pitched and just cuts out, and there's just like nothing. So maybe he's a nice old bull. I guess we'll see. That was awesome. Super exhilarating. I'm pumped about that. First bugle session. And now I can see why people love bugling in elk and not sneaking up on them. It gets your heart going. It's awesome. I kind of take back my thing about just wanting to stalk in and take them out silently. But we'll see. Now I'm just going to square everything away tonight and get up probably a little earlier because I want to get up to that spot with plenty of time to spare. And I'm just going to slowly work in, see where I can find him. You can try to call him in or try to sneak up on him. If he's constantly bugling and the wind's good, I will try to sneak up on him. And then if I can't get too close, then I'll start bugling. But I'm going to try to get into under 100 yards before I start doing any bugling, if that's what it takes. Heck yeah. Even if I don't take him out tomorrow, I'm still going to be excited just because it's a milestone. Get my first bugle session in with a bull. But obviously the goal is to take him out. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. If somehow I fail or can't locate him, at least I got some experience in. Thursday out. Let's take it to him in the morning. Holy shit. I can't believe I did it. Holy fuck. Been tracking this guy all day, and I did not think it was going to happen. Time to get to work. I got on him that next morning. I was about 200 yards up the road from where I was bugling him from, and I thought he was going to be traveling further up that draw, which I was right. Got up there, and I got set up way before dark. And he started bugling, I think it was like 5:30ish, still dark. And that next morning, I pretty much tracked him back and forth in that draw. Started out tracking him off the road, going up the draw. He turned around and started going away from me, and I was trying to go in silent. Once I could tell he turned around and was going up it, then I tried to bugle to him to come back. But I think at that point, he was like, nope, going this way. And he had no interest in a fight that day. He did not. Whenever I bugled, it was pretty much he was going that way. He was heading away. So I went back up to the road, went all the way around, came down, and then tried cutting him off at his same level. But again, he turned around and started heading back the other way. And after this, I took some time and assessed the situation on what was the best thing to do. I was like, I got to come up with a better game plan. I don't have anyone up there at the moment. And if I dropped down and got on him and went all the way out that draw all day, that's going to be a huge hike back up or all the way back up the road later on that evening. Communicated to my dad, asked him to pick me up at the bottom of that draw later on that night. So I was like, conscience clear, I got a plan, stalk him all the way through that drainage, all the way out to the road, and just take all day, just taking my time and doing it. So after that, I ended up dropping in. I did hear him bugle one more time after they get back down there. And then I started to really have second thoughts, third thoughts, fourth thoughts. I was like, man, this is deep. This is steep. This is really, really thick. Then I heard him bugle, and I was like, all right, it's on. Screw all my thoughts. Let's just go for it. Let's drop down. Kept following his tracks, and I could tell that there was a cow with him as well. Dropped down to the bottom, just taking my time. Went up the other side of a small draw that was intersecting with the big draw. As I went up about 30, 40 yards, I heard a bugle back down at the bottom of the draw where I originally pinpointed and thought he was at. So I was like, okay, let's turn around, let's get back down there, let's go slow. He is right where I thought he was, and he's still there. It was one of those more not open faces, but it had a lot of dirt that I was standing on instead of leaves and underbrush, so I could stay real quiet. That was the good thing. And then as I got down towards the bottom, I heard something rustling over there. So I got an arrow knocked on, got kind of set and ready. I saw his head kind of poke out, feeding, quickly ranged in front of him, and I just ranged right on the bank that he was on, which was the exact opposite side, right where I came down 20 minutes before that. I just ranged just the slope itself. And then I figured as long as I get it close enough, I'm going to be good to go. Ranged it at about 25, put my rangefinder away. He saw me move at some point, so I just stood real slow. There was a tree about 5 yards in front of me, and I just slowly moved over. I didn't move at all when he was looking at me. I just kind of slowly moved over, so that tree was blocking my head and my main torso, and it was blocking his head. All I could see was antlers on each side, and then his back end on the right. And then I just stood there till I could see him put his head down and start feeding again. I drew back straight on the tree, didn't even look around it at all, and he saw that movement again, and then looked up at me, and I could see him look, and his antlers on both sides. And I was just like, well, I don't know what's going to happen here. He may bolt. So I didn't even I did take a big chance in this, but I didn't want him to just bolt without me trying to make a move. So I just real slow, just very slow. I had it aimed on the tree. I just leaned, kept leaning, kept the rest of my body where it was, and just leaned my torso over till I was out from the tree, and my pin was right on that money spot. I put the gap in between the 20 and the 30 right halfway up his body, right where you want it to be, and I just went through my shot process. Just finger on the trigger, literally pushed and pulled, and honestly, it was the most surprise shot I've ever had in my life, which is crazy. I didn't think it'd go that smooth. The arrow looked good, but it sounded like it hit a log. I was like, what the hell just happened? Obviously, he spun around. He went the other way. It was pretty loud. I could hear a little bit of crashing, but was unsure as to what happened. And I was a little bit in shock right away. Like, did that really just happen? Like, did I screw that up? Did it hit a branch? The arrow looked like it flew perfect. But I just couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe that I had a perfect opening right in the middle of, like, there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of twigs in every which direction, and somehow, like, that one spot, like, I could have easily not had a shot at all in any movement I could have made to try to get a clear shot, could have alerted him, but it just worked out. And the other reason that I tried really, that I didn't want to let this go too long, was the wind was starting to shift right before that. I threw up my wind checker, and that wind was starting to come exactly towards him. Maybe it was just swirling a little bit and it went back, but I didn't want to chance it. So that's why I just started leaning out. And I was like, I need to make this happen now, or he might smell me and be out. And that's my whole day right there. So I walked up to the spot and looked all around. I could not find my arrow. And that part was kind of wondering about that. I was like, man, did I hit him too far forward? Did something happen? Was it a bad shot? Did I miss him entirely? And I looked up top, I was looking down low, I was looking at all the logs around to see if I hit a log. Could not find my arrow. Also could not find any blood at all. It was the longest half hour of my life, like just sitting there, just kind of contemplating everything. Finally, I was trying to look at like where the shot came from, looking back, and of course I could not find the exact spot that I shot from again after I went over there. I started tracking his tracks, and I could clearly tell where his were at because he was moving and he was crashing through. And there was no blood at all anywhere. And I pretty much thought I screwed this up. I thought that there was, I missed him or I injured him and there was no blood. Got up to the creek. I ended up crossing the creek, and I was like, I think this is the right trails. I look up, and all of a sudden, there he is, right on the other edge of the big drainage. He ended up dashing away, and in hindsight, I could hear him crash down. He went down across the creek, and he went back up, and that's where the blood started really coming out. It just filled up, and that's where it started kind of bleeding everywhere. And then he crashed down the ridge to his spot where he was resting. And man, I didn't even know what to think at that point. I was like, holy crap. I can't believe I did it. I did it. I got a bull with a bow. And not just that, I got a really nice 5x5. I was going to be happy with just anything legal. Like just a spike. I was going to be happy. I have gotten a couple bulls with a rifle over in Montana. Haven't gotten anything yet with archery. This is only the second time I've pulled back on a bull. I've been in a lot of situations now, both this season, which you've seen some of them, and last season, where I've had approaches and kind of messed up situations, which I've learned from. And I know in this one, like, it probably wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have capitalized on this whole encounter if I didn't have a few of my past challenges or mess ups. In the past, I didn't find my perfect lane. I didn't range quick and efficiently enough. And I made sure to range immediately as soon as I saw him come up. I just got a quick range, put it back. I was already planning where I wanted to shoot. And I knew that when I pulled back on that tree and he was standing there still, I was like, I don't know what other lanes I'm going to have to the left. So this is the lane I need to hit. And if he goes more to the left, I may not have a lane without alerting him. I should have probably taken more video. I wish I would have taken more video. I wish I would have had my GoPro on because that would have just been awesome to showcase that. But like I said, it was just more important for me to have a successful hunt, especially on a nice bull like this. He sounded like he was a really old bull. Just like his notes would just cancel out. He was only doing like half bugles because you could tell he was just really raspy. And I just felt, I was like, this is the one, like, this is the bull I'm going to go after. And I don't want to screw it up by doing updates while I'm trying to track him. So after I had him down, I did gut him myself. And then I climbed straight up the way I came, went as quick as possible. I got as much done as I could, but I knew that my dad was going to be down there waiting for me or back at camp. Went down and got him. We got it broken down, got one small trip out that night at about 10 o'clock. And then we returned the next day on Saturday, got the rest of it broke down, quartered out, and then we made 4 trips between the both of us and got them out. And that was my hunt of the 2024 season. Somehow got lucky. My persistence paid off on this elk and patience, and then got back in on him and stayed patient all day and didn't rush in and made it happen. I am super pumped, super happy. I never thought I would have gotten a nice 5x5 on my first archery kill, second year of archery hunting. Now I'm going to have to recalibrate my expectations of what I'm going to go for next year. I don't think I can expect a 5x5 or a 6, but I think I could probably expect not having to go after the first bull that I see, whether it's a spike. Maybe my expectations would be going for a branched antler or bigger, but it depends on how much I see or the area I'm hunting next year. All I know is I can't sit back and just expect them to be that kind of successful every year. I need to keep working hard to be ready for the next season. Focus on those things that I could get better at. Hope you can make it through this video. My dedication for filming really took a backseat to absorbing the experience and being successful on the hunt. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Huge shout out to my dad for helping with camp, scouting, and helping with the pack out and sharing the experience with him. Now it's on to training for the next. Elk season 2024 out.